Hello everyone, welcome to another editing video, and I'm gonna go through the 31st critique video also in this. So first I'm gonna do some editing with majorly this shoot with Natalie. So let's get started. So I use VSCO, as many of you have seen my previous videos. So this is the original JPEG directly from the XT2, and I use the classic Chrome. So this is by default the classic Chrome, and then I will use the E5 to add some like nice sunset tone in it, and then I increase the contrast and increase the sharpness, and then probably slightly reduce because you see the face a little bit light, and I will reduce the highlights also. So and then I probably increase a little bit more contrast. So basically that's the edit, and then I do the 4x5 for Instagram, so that it's nicely have a little bit of headroom that allows the bokeh in the top. So let me save it. Yep, so this is the one, and then next one I use the bubble. So I use one hand holding the left hand holding the bubble gun, and then the other hand holding the camera doing the shutter. So I use the E6 for this one because there are some green elements in the background. So E6 is specific nice for the background with the green. So I will increase the contrast a little bit, and then the highlight safe, just increase the highlight safe a little bit more. And you can see the body is slightly tilted, so I will tilt it back more vertical to the ground. So and then I will just do a 4x5 crop in here. Make sure the head nicely with a little bit of headroom also. Okay, so the next one, this one also bubble. So I'm gonna just copy the edit. This is how I do it. Copy and paste it. Probably a little bit too dark in front, so I probably increase the lighting here. You can mess with the tone also, but if it's too cold, it's not good. So probably minus 0.4, and then that's it. So that's my edit on this picture. And then this one also, so I'm gonna just go in through, and the next one just paste it. And this one I can use a E5 also. So E5 has a nice light warm and then the brown tone in it, so I will use E5 and then do a 4x5 crop on it. Yep, so that's my edit on this one. And then the next one with a lot of yellow on the ground, so I'm gonna use A4 on this one. A4 has a nice like brown overall tone, a little bit similar to black and white color because it like toned out, less saturated all the color. So this is better when there are less color range on the same image. Like this one is like black and yellow, two image, like two color. So I'm just gonna make it into the center. So that's my edit right here, and then I'm gonna copy, just copy. Let's see, wait, yeah, copy and then paste it. Paste this one. It's still too bright. You can see the face is very bright. So I'm gonna reduce this one. So I just posted this one in my Instagram. You can just check it out. You can just do 4x5 crop, leave a little bit more room for the leaves around her head to just indicate that the whole environment has a lot of like golden leaves in here. So okay, that's my edit on all the picture, some of the picture with Natalie. So next I'm gonna just quickly go through the critique video, the 31st. So the first one, let's see, it's loading. So I think the composition on the first row nicely done on the first 3 pictures. Sorry, my connection is kind of slow. So it's about the same position. This one, these 2 branches kind of distracted my eyes a little bit. Maybe you can just ask the model to stand on the background without this 2 tree branch, because when you look from far away, these branches are very strong in the background. It's even as strong as the portrait, so it takes out the attention from the user. So, but I like the tone and the framing on here, using a flower to frame the portrait. So just be careful on the background, on those strong solid lines. Make sure that they are not distracting the portrait. Next one. So this one, I like the interesting framing on this one. There's a little bit of line behind, kind of distracting, but I like the interesting framing, just using an arc to frame the portrait. And from the feed consistency standpoint, make sure that the tone are similar, because I see you have mostly the cold tone, and then this one has a brown tone, and then a little bit of brown, and then kind of like the cold tone consistency is gone. So make sure that you want to be consistently cold tone if you want to keep the feed consistent. And next one. So I like the tone in here. Make sure that these edges of the white have to crop it out to be more clean in the background, like this little bit of white right there, and then the edge right there. So what you can do is just make it, crop it closer, so that the viewer won't distract it by the white area. And I like the toning in this nice toning, and just be careful of what the background has, all the lines. The next one, my first attention is this second picture. Nice hair flip with this one, very nice dark background against the hair, the bright hair color. So very nicely done. I like the sunlight mood on the face also, so it's very nice. So keep it up. I like the tone overall. The only thing I'm picky about is those 2 white lines in the background. Really like the matching of the outfit against the car also. So just make sure if you see those in the viewfinder, what you can do is just rotate the camera toward the right, so that all the framing are on the right side, so that it's even stronger without those distraction of the white lines. So next one. So you have 2 color on the first row, and this is black and white. Unless you have to have color to balance out, just make sure that it's consistently posted. This background here, I like the yellow color, but this background here, the black line kind of like distracted my eyes. Make sure there are no strong lines just right next to the head part. And the same thing happened to here. There's a strong white lines next to the portrait. Just make sure that when you frame in the portrait, you can either frame it in between those lines, so that it won't distract the head part. And next one. So I like the mood in this V. It has a tone and mood in here, nicely done with the tone. Like, I feel like it's consistent tone throughout the feed. So just keep it up the tone. And this happened again a little bit. Just make sure that the background, it doesn't have those distracted white solid lines against the face. But overall, I like the tone overall. So good job. Next one. I like the use of the flower framing and the green against the blue in here. So I will crop even closer in this picture because those space are kind of like too much for me. I will crop it closer. And this one happened also, those white dots on the building. If you see from outside, you can see a little bit of white dot right there. I will just crop it closer so that it has a more focus on the portrait in here. So nice hair flip in this one, good job. So let me see. I like the behind the sunlight, natural light, using the natural light in this, and just make sure that from the feed consistency standpoint, right now it's scattered throughout with a lot of white spaces. Just make sure that you consistently post. If you have one vertical and then another vertical, and then probably should post another vertical. Just make sure that it is consistently. And this is more editorial style, but this white lines is too strong for me. So that's my take on that. And this cropping kind of like cropping too much of the body for me. Either you ask the model without the hand side, at least the body has to show more in between the gap, because kind of like it's just the head sticking out from this one. So that's my opinion on that one. So next one, I like the tone and mood in this one. And from the feed consistent standpoint, make sure that the cropping is consistent, because right now this one is cropping too much on the top. When you see in the square format, you can see it's cropping too much on the top. And this one a little bit of, like on the tree, there's some white dot right there. It's kind of like distracted. I will just crop it like that so it feels cleaner in that case. So next one, I like the tone in this also. Nice outfit, matches the vintage car, and nice leading lines in this one. I will have more symmetry in these leading lines for this, like maybe position the model, because I don't want this little bit of gap next to the head also. So I will just position the model, ask the model to step right couple inches so that it fills the frame with the leading lines completely. So that's my opinion of the leading lines, but you are in the good direction. Keep it up. Next one. Okay, this has only 4 pictures. I like the backlighting in here. I'm not sure about this brown furniture. I think it's furniture in the back. Kind of like distracted the grass. If either you have completely brown background or just all grass without this, you can just reposition the portrait to have without this brown object in the back. So that's my take on that. Next one. So I like the fall tone in here. Make sure that this is another case on the background. Just make sure that there are no objects sticking out from the head part, kind of like distracted a little bit. You can either crop out so that nobody knows it's a headline right there, or if you want to keep that lines, you can ask the portrait standing in the middle a little bit more. From the feed consistency standpoint, you have this one slightly tilted to the right, so I will tilt it to the left a little bit more so that make it, because when you see the back is slightly tilted to the right, you can slightly tilt it back to the left. And from the feed cropping like composition consistency standpoint, this one has a lot of headroom, this one has intermediate headroom in the square, this one has less headroom. So to make sure that they are consistently cropping throughout the feed as a consistency. So that's just my quick take on the 31st critique video. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time. Bye.